Hi there, Eve here from Vitamin Eve Nutrition Counseling. I love helping people make peace with food in any situation, no matter what is going on in their lives. Have you ever noticed how in the same day, your eating can go from extremely restrictive, no, I don't eat sugar, I don't eat fat, I don't eat carbs, I don't eat animal proteins, and I don't eat gluten, I don't eat dairy, I don't eat the totally party time. Like in the morning when you get your coffee, you get it with no sugar, no creamer, totally plain black coffee. But on your way home from work, you may stop at that same coffee shop and get a latte, maybe a Danish, and maybe a couple of scones to go with that and that fresh whipped cream. What happens? Not that there's anything wrong with the way that you're choosing to eat or that there's anything wrong with the way that you're choosing to not eat. It's actually the energy with which this is happening. So today I'm going to talk about some tips and another way to look at this to help you eat in the way that you feel is best for you. But before I go on, I just want to thank everybody who is in this community with your loving comments, your great questions. I love being a part of this movement, so thank you so much for your participation. It means so much to me. So if you have done so already, if you subscribed, thank you for being a subscriber. If you haven't done so, I invite you to do so now. So let's talk about what's going on with that phenomenon. How you notice how part of the day you could be really good at rigidity and restriction, or maybe it's a couple of days. And it's just a matter of time until you notice that, you're craving everything, you're saying yes to yourself more than you want to, and it's not feeling good anymore. So a way that I want you to think about that is we all have that inner child. That inner child is that part of us that could be the impulsive one. It's the one that is having the craving. She has tantrums. It has to be her way right now. You know what I'm talking about? So that unreasonable, emotional, that's our inner child. On the other hand, we also have an inner parent. Our inner parent is the one that sets guidelines, that has boundaries, says no, says yes, has a certain plan, structure to help keep us safe. So we all have those inner voices inside of us. So when our inner child has a craving like that, that's impulsive, if the inner parent comes and tries to parent that inner child by telling it no or setting down restrictive rules, that doesn't really work, because what ends up happening is this inner child, it may obey for, the short term, but what ends up happening is that it ends up feeling deprived, it ends up feeling resentful, and it ends up rebelling. And the inner child does what she wants to do anyway. So having this inner parent this inner child could actually be counterproductive because of the rebelling that could go on. On the other hand, when you have this inner child that has a craving that she has, and you try to parent her with your inner child, so your inner child is parenting your inner child, well, then it's go time. The answer is always yes. You might notice a lot of impulsivity. You might notice a lot of compulsivity when it comes to food, and saying yes maybe more than you feel comfortable with. So what I want to introduce you to is a third character in this party in your head, right? And this third character that I want to introduce to you is your higher self. Maybe some people call it their soul or loving consciousness. So this part of you, this higher self, this loving consciousness, doesn't really have an opinion for this inner child. That's what's so interesting about this. What this loving consciousness does, because it's pure presence, it actually wants to understand more about the situation. So I want to help you connect with your own loving consciousness. After all, Valentine's Day is just around the corner, or it's today, depending when you're watching this, or maybe a few days ago, whatever. And so I want to help you connect with that loving consciousness. And so there are a few questions that you could ask this inner child to help you get more clear on what the best choice for you is. So question number one that you could ask this inner child of yours is, what makes you want this now? Are you legitimately hungry? Are you bored? Are you tired? Are you stressed? Or is there something else going on? Are you trying to distract? So question number one is, what makes you want this now? Question number two is, well, after you eat this, how do you imagine that will make you feel? How will it impact your energy? How will it digest for you, etc.? The third question is this aligned with the type of eater that you want to be? Is eating this aligned with your values? The fourth question is, okay, now that you've answered some of these questions, what do you feel is the best choice for you now? Based on how you answered this, what do you feel is the best choice for you? And question number 5 is a really important question, and you ask yourself this after you make the choice. And so the question that you want to ask yourself after you've made the choice is, whatever you choose to do, what can you learn from this situation? Remember, you could do no wrong. So based on the choice that you made, based on the questions that you asked yourself and the way that you answered, what did you learn? So I want to share a few scenarios of how my clients use these questions and what happened. So there are 3 scenarios I want to share with you. So the first scenario was a client of mine who went out to lunch with her friends, and after lunch, a group of them were going to go to get some ice cream. And so, so she took herself through these questions. She asked herself, well, what makes me want to have this ice cream now? And she said, well, my friends are going, and I want to have ice cream because everybody else is having it. She asked herself, how will I feel after eating this ice cream? And she thought, I'll feel just fine. I'm not terribly full, and ice cream, it won't make me feel overly full. I think I'll feel just fine. And she asked herself, is it aligned with how you want to eat? And she thought, yeah, fine, I like ice cream. And she started thinking, earlier that day, her and her family had made brownies, and she ate brownies with her kids, and she knew after dinner that she wanted some more brownie. And so she asked herself, what would be the best choice? Based on how she answered these questions, what would be the best choice for her right now? And she decided, truthfully, she really didn't want that ice cream. In fact, she wanted to have a brownie later on. And so what she decided to do is, instead of getting ice cream, was to go and get an iced tea that felt like it matched what she felt like more. So she told her friends, I'm going to get some iced tea instead of getting the ice cream. And interestingly, some of her friends actually came with her. It turns out some of them did want ice cream and some of them wanted something else. So what she learned was that it was wise of her to stand up for herself or to make her preference known, because other people had that same preference as well. Other people were going through similar thought processes. So that's scenario number 1. Scenario number 2 was another client who was out to dinner with her boyfriend, and she wanted to order mozzarella sticks. And so when she asked herself, what makes me want this right now, she decided, I'm physically hungry. She was able to connect with, I'm physically hungry, I want mozzarella sticks. She imagined after she ate those mozzarella sticks that she would feel satisfied. After all, she loves mozzarella sticks. She felt like it was aligned with the way that she wanted to eat. After all, she loved mozzarella sticks. And so she felt the best choice for her in that moment was to have mozzarella sticks. And whatever she chose to do, what she learned from that situation was that having mozzarella sticks, and she also ordered a cocktail, actually gave her really severe heartburn. So she learned that the combination of mozzarella sticks with cocktails was just too heavy or whatever on her system, and that didn't mix for her. And so that was really good information that she was able to get. So thereafter, when she went to that same place, she knew either to get mozzarella sticks and not have a cocktail, or if she was going to get a cocktail, to get it with something else. And so the third scenario that I want to share with you is another client who had a long day of work. She was tired. She didn't feel like preparing herself dinner. So she decided what she felt like was a sandwich. So she asked herself, well, what makes me want a sandwich right now? Is because she was physically hungry and she was just craving a sandwich. She imagined that after eating the sandwich that she would feel satisfied, just fine. She felt like it was aligned with the way that she wanted to eat. And she felt like it was a good choice for her to go ahead and have the sandwich. So that's what she did. And very interestingly, what she learned from that scenario was having something that she was truly craving was so satisfying that she noticed after dinner she wasn't grazing like she usually does. Because usually when she prepares herself a dinner, she doesn't put a lot of thought into it. She doesn't put a lot of effort. Very often it's just a salad. And she notices when she just gives herself a salad, it doesn't have enough ingredients, and she's grazing thereafter. So that night that she had that sandwich, it worked for her system so well. And so she had that learning. What I want to emphasize in this video is having this learning orientation to your food and eating. I know this isn't popular these days because on all of these social media posts, there's the right way to do it and the wrong way to do it. And that's not how it works when it comes to eating. It's learning what works best for you. And when you have this learning orientation to eating, it actually takes the pressure off. And to me, this is a very interesting thing. It's like a paradox that when you take the pressure off of your eating, it actually makes it easier to make a food choice that you find energizing. It actually makes it easier to make a food choice that feels good in your body. It's easier to make a food choice that's more aligned because there's less judgment. And so I hope you found this video helpful. As I mentioned earlier, Valentine's Day is just around the corner, and I know many of you like to watch me decorate my home, so that's what we'll do now. I'm gonna decorate my home with these wonderful Valentine decorations. So here we go. Boom, it's decorated. So I hope you found this video helpful. I'd love to know what your favorite tip is if you have any comments for this video. And thank you so much for watching. Happy Valentine's Day. No, the answer is no.